Hi, and welcome back to
Inspired to Game. I'm Sean.
And I am Lola. Today we are talking about Nemesis Lockdown. We are going to give you a review and overview of Nemesis Lockdown. We are also going to talk about Nemesis versus Nemesis Lockdown versus the brand new campaign coming out for Nemesis Retaliation. We'll be talking a little bit about which one might be a good fit for you and how they're all different. So feel free to use the chapters down below to navigate to what content you're specifically interested in.
Nemesis Lockdown is a sci-fi themed semi-cooperative survival horror game. Each player will choose from a cadre of different characters with asymmetrical powers, items, and individual quests and objectives. Each turn, players will choose from their hand of action cards to explore the facility, fight creatures, search rooms, and fulfill their objectives. As a semi-cooperative game, your objective may coincide with some of the other players, but then again, it might not. You may be tasked with getting out of the facility with everyone alive, except for Steve. There's also a fully cooperative mode where you will share all objectives and you will claim victory as one, as long as one of your party survives. And survival, of course, is not guaranteed. The events in the facility have caused the company to activate a contingency plan, and finding out what that contingency plan is one of your priorities. Otherwise, you might find that you locked yourself into the one room that the company is going to purge. Now, even if you do escape the facility alive, you still have to be checked for contamination and other unwelcome visitors, and you could still end up as a casualty. Now, there are many variables in the setup, different rooms, different objectives, so every play is going to be slightly different. There's even an entirely different side of the map where you can run around on the surface of Mars instead. And that, in a nutshell, is how you play Nemesis Lockdown.
So Nemesis Lockdown is an exciting game.
Yes.
This is a thrilling game. It is an experience. It's absolutely amazing how scary it can feel and how engaging. And, you know, it's the kind of game you have to go into not expecting to live necessarily. Now, this game can be played semi-cooperatively. That's what it is designed for. But it can also be played cooperatively, which is what is recommended with 2 players, which is how we play. Because if you're playing 2 players and one of you is against the other, well, it just stacks the odds a little bit too much against you. Now, it's a really neat mechanism because within the semi-cooperative, everybody has their different objective. Your objective might be to steal an egg for further research. Your objective can be to make sure that nobody survives but you can also have objectives that are completely harmless that actually help people too. So you never know what anybody's objective is going to be, and that adds to the stress and the tension of the game. And we don't play it that way. We play it fully cooperatively where we both have joint objectives. It might be something like to send the signal or to make sure to get out of there with an egg type of thing. But we're working towards it, and the nice thing with a cooperative game is only one of us needs to survive. And as long as one of us survives and makes it past all, then we win the game.
The contingencies add into this. It might be that the contingency plan is to kill everyone that didn't send the signal, or kill everyone that doesn't have a knowledge over a certain number. And if you're the guy that didn't get to the signal, then you're the sacrificial lamb.
And that's what makes it exciting too. So not only are you exploring these rooms, going around, seeing what's there, trying to not make too much noise, because this is what attracts them, but at the same time you have to try to elucidate what the company's contingency plan is, because you need to make it out of here alive. Sometimes that might require you putting on the self-destruct and using a CSS pod to launch yourself into space. However, if the contingency plan is to kill all CSS pods, then, well, you don't kill a pod, you kill the people in it. Blow up the CSS pods, then that's not a way to survive this game. So it becomes imperative to try to figure out what that contingency plan is while you go about figuring out how to achieve your objectives. So there's enough in this game that's nice and thinky too, with trying to put that all together. You have to be strategic. Now, you don't want to attract too many aliens because you're not that strong for them. And half the time when you attract them, you just want to run away.
And running away, you could end up with a larva embedded in your body. You could end up with various contamination cards in your deck, and all of those come back to haunt you, even if you get out of the facility alive.
There's so much about this game that I think it's elegant. It's borderline brilliant the way that so much of this is designed. So right from when you go into a room and the token on top will tell you what's happening in that room, whether it's a matter of that it's on fire or it's malfunctioning or there's danger. It also tells you how many supplies are in that room, and you rotate that room to show how much supplies are in that, and when you search and find something, that is rotated down as you deplete those supplies. So much of this works so very, very well. Later on in the round, when you're pulling out an alien from the bag to see what's going to happen, there's a certain amount of bag advancement too, where creepers will grow up to be adults. You'll add another adult into the bag. As you go, if you haven't gotten a queen yet, you're going to get to the point where you have a greater chance of pulling that queen out. I also like the element of how you defeat the aliens. They don't have a set hit points type of thing. It's always based on a card, so you don't know whether the damage you're going to do is going to kill them until you pull that card. Do they have 5 health this time? Is it 4? Is it 3? You just don't know. Maybe you'll get lucky and you happen to get one that has low energy reserves and was a runt or something like that. There's a realism there that I really, really like. It's not like you're going in calculating out your damage versus your hit points and able to just calculate out your win. There's that uncertainty, there's that drama, there's that fear that can be there of you just don't know, but you've got to try anyway.
And remember, Murphy's Law is in full swing. It's gonna happen that you're gonna draw the worst possible thing if you're thinking about it. Think positive thoughts the whole time. Otherwise, you'll be in the nest and you're gonna be grabbing that egg, and that's just when the queen's gonna show up, because that's the way it's going to happen.
And a fun thing too is you get a lot of different items that then you can even do some crafting with them and create some more items. So escape possibilities in the game is you can escape through the bunker, you can escape by locking yourself into the isolation room, or you can escape out of the CSS pods. And that's where we're saying that you need to figure out what the contingency plan is, though, because if it is to level the entire facility, being locked in the isolation room is not going to help you much. Likewise, if blowing up all the CSS pods is the contingency, well, being in one isn't going to help you much either.
Nuke it from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
It's the only way to be sure. The aesthetic is really nice in the game too, and I love the minis. I love that they've done something different with all the minis. So say if you're looking at the alien adults, each one is in a different configuration, so they all look menacing in their own unique ways. And I love the choices that are made there. They're huge, they're dominating, they're scary, and very immersive.
Yeah, you've got the ones that crouch, the ones that are just menacing, and the other ones that appear to be doing some kind of rendition of Singing in the Rain.
I know, right?
Makes them slightly less scary.
I actually literally get that into my head every time that one comes out. When we first decided that we wanted to get Nemesis, we were looking at it for our wedding anniversary in May. So I did a bunch of research to figure out, do we want Lockdown or the original Nemesis? Now, the consensus I got from most people was that Nemesis is better. Now, when I looked into why, they said because they like the theme better. So it was all about the theme. However, Nemesis Lockdown had improved rules, improved mechanics, and it even included some new things such as being able to remove noise tokens from areas that you weren't in, which sounded like a pretty good idea to me. Now, Nemesis Lockdown, the rulebook, was said to be a little bit more difficult and daunting, but that doesn't bother me at all. All of that put together, and the fact that I actually like the Lockdown theme better. I like that that theme of being in a Mars facility. I also like the look of the board better, whereas the Nemesis board is pretty much all black. The Nemesis Lockdown board has some nice little red hues in it, makes it a bit more colorful, and I love the color red. So I like the ambiance of the game. So we chose Lockdown. What was really nice about it with reading the rule book is is. It was really, really well put together, and as I went along, it explained in detail the differences between the original Nemesis and Lockdown, so I could see exactly what was changed and what wasn't. And reading that gave me a really great appreciation for choosing Lockdown. So we're happy with Lockdown. We're glad we chose it because we prefer the theme, and I also like the new mechanics that were introduced in the second version of the game. I personally think that they improved upon it. So if you're deciding whether to pick up Nemesis or Lockdown, it really comes down to, do you like the general aliens spaceship theme better, or the on Mars facility location? It comes down to theme. If you don't care about the theme, then I would say go with Lockdown because it does have some rules improvement, and the rulebook seemed just fine. Now, Retaliation. So Retaliation is the new Kickstarter. That's all the buzz. That's coming out real soon, and I should actually say Gamefound. You'll find it on Gamefound, not Kickstarter. Now, Retaliation is completely different than the Nemesis game. So Nemesis and Nemesis Lockdown are completely compatible with each other. They are both horror survival games. In these games, you don't want to meet the aliens. You prefer to avoid them, hopefully, and if you encounter them, you'll do the best you can. It's all about survival. It's all about making it out of there alive without disrupting, hopefully, too much. Now, Retaliation, on the other hand, is pretty much the exact opposite. This is a tactical game where you are going in waging war on the aliens. There are hordes, literal hordes of them for you to battle. You are experts, you are Marines, I think, and that is your job. So whereas Nemesis is a survival game, Retaliation is a battle game. It is tactical. It is standalone, and it is not compatible with the other Nemesis games at all. So it actually makes it a really easy choice. If you don't have any of the games and you're wanting to jump in, do you want survival? Do you want tactical? Do you want a battle? Or do you want to play that, survival game?
Aliens, or do you want Starship Troopers?
There you go. So that's kind of the gist of it. We will leave a link to the campaign down below so you can check it out, and leave us your thoughts down below if you want to add to that. Now, I must say I haven't been following every single nuance of the Retaliation campaign, and we haven't played Nemesis, only Lockdown. So I would love to hear if you want to weigh in and give some additional thoughts to what we've said here. So let us know down in the comments below. Now, thank you so much for watching our content today.
If you've enjoyed this content, please check out some of our other videos and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already.
And as always, happy gaming, folks.
Okay. You might be tasked with the job of getting out of the facility with everyone except Steve. Because
Speaking of unwanted visitors.
Hi. Unwelcome visitors. You're welcome, just not now.
Now that's all we have to say about that. Okay.
Different movie. Totally different.
Totally different movie.